Hey folks, today is Friday, August 4th, 2017. As usual, it's me, Jake, here to talk about some stuff every Friday, video game stuff. Let's get right into it. First things first, The Killing Floor 2, for those of you that don't know, is going to be dropping on Xbox One, but why it's really in the news is because they've stated that they're working on an Xbox One X version, but most interestingly, when reached for comment, one of the lead developers claimed that the Xbox One X couldn't run The Killing Floor 2 at 4K. The senior graphics programmer on The Killing Floor 2 had some interesting things to say, most notably saying that to port from Xbox One X to an Xbox One X version took only like 4 hours of easy programming, and it was no problem and seamless. But he said that on Xbox One X it runs at native 1800p as a fixed resolution without checkerboard rendering. He did say they experimented with true 4K rendering 100%, but the frame rate drop was a bit too significant. He did also say that it runs at higher frame rates on Xbox One X. But ultimately he said that they could not get it to run efficiently at 4K. How do you guys feel about that? Because of course it's the title of this video, it's had a lot of console people on both sides freaking out, and honestly too, 1800p, right?
It's not that far off.
It's not that bad.
2100p.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So no, I don't think this is like going to spell gloom and doom or anything for the Xbox One X. I think it's just another thing that's going to help tamper people's expectations that these upgraded consoles still aren't going to really push power like some people are expecting. Better graphics though? Yes, absolutely. And I think the Xbox One X might still be good for that. He did go on to say that they are using the ultra textures on the Xbox One X version, which is nice. But that 4K talking point, the big marketing buzzword, is a double-edged sword because it'll get people hyped up thinking 4K is the greatest thing, and then anytime that something isn't 4K, it shoots them in the foot. So honestly, with this stuff, I don't really know what to think. Especially people who play on PC primarily, we're not really worried about this stuff. But as someone who's been using a PS4 Pro and that doesn't think it's the biggest upgrade or jump from a PS4, I don't know. I don't really know about these upgrades, so I do want to know what you guys are thinking. But something that I've been dying to talk about ever since I read about it, The Witcher 3 is getting a coloring book. Yes, an adult coloring book, which is apparently a thing. They do actually publish coloring books out there geared towards adults who just want to relax and turn their brain off and color. I don't get that. I mean, but hey, that could be fun. But what's interesting here is that The Witcher 3 is getting an official coloring book. And while it's labeled an adult coloring book, it's not really because of the rating. It's just because of the person it's intended for. So it doesn't really seem from the images that we've seen so far, it doesn't look like it's going to be violent. There's just silly stuff with Geralt goofing around with Roach and Geralt taking a bath. It's being published by Dark Horse of all people, and it's going to be $15 and it's dropping in November. So I honestly, I want this for my birthday. But it wouldn't really be a news cycle if Rockstar or GTA wasn't being sued by something once again. And yep, this time it's for a 15-year-old game. The Psychic Readers Network is suing Rockstar for exploiting the character of Auntie Poulet, the psychic reader who is basically a spin-off of Miss Cleo, the television psychic reader from the United States here. They claim that it's damaging to psychics, it's damaging to Miss Cleo herself, that isn't even her real name, and that Rockstar has been profiting off of this person after she died 2 years ago. And the woman who plays Miss Cleo in real life actually did the voice of Auntie Poulet, so that's why they're coming back for this. But honestly, it seems kind of baseless. It seems like very much one of those things. If a regular pop culture character is parodied, it is what it is. It's the same thing if Grand Theft Auto made fun of Dr. Phil. And it's happened to them before, and it's probably going to happen again. And Rockstar did go on record saying that this was totally baseless and they're going to fight it because it's bullshit. And you know what? As someone who watched all those dumb Miss Cleo infomercials back in the day, I do think this is pretty baseless. And then some interesting Destiny news that isn't totally about Destiny itself, but it kind of is. Bungie came out and said that certain capture programs are not going to work for Destiny. They officially said that game capture mode of applications like OBS and XSplit are not supported. Not only that, but Razor's thing and Fravs are also apparently going to have problems. However, though, if you are the type of person that captures through an Elgato or an AverMedia box, you're still in the clear. But the restricting of this software seems interesting. I don't really totally understand. Thankfully, though, this is, of course, for exclusive full screen mode. You will be able to capture in Windows mode and stuff like that. But for some people with very specific workflows or or stream setups or content creation processes, that could still pose a very annoying issue for someone who just wants to make Destiny stuff. I guess it just depends on the type of PC gamer you are. If you do play on borderless Windows, you are fine, so it's not the end of the world. But another interesting development with it is that voice chat communications with stuff like Discord or Mumble overlays are also going to be restricted. And just judging by how massive Discord is getting, that's definitely a downer. Now, one can deduce, I guess, maybe reaching, but this could be some sort of thing to prevent cheating and hacking in-game game and stuff like that. But the fact that Bungie didn't express that and just give an outline or a reason for why leaves people like us just talking about it and questioning it and kind of being bummed. That's what I would recommend. If Bungie actually announced this and gave a reason for why, it would help a little bit, but now we're all kind of left in the dark. Also, and something that I absolutely did not see coming, Friday the 13th, the game sold over 1.8 million copies. Did you ever expect that?
No, not at all.
No. I guess it's the brand, honestly. I guess it's just Jason. He sells. Now, this just poses a very interesting question because a lot of people, most notably those on Xbox One, have had a ton of problems with Friday the 13th. And I'm saying that as someone who really genuinely likes the game. If you stack up Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, you might think I'm crazy, but despite all the bugs and problems, I really like Friday the 13th. I'm also just a huge fan of Friday the 13th and Jason and stuff, but still. And despite the game being completely broken and a lot of times just online matches not working, the thing managed to sell 1.8 million copies. Not only that, just the fact that it's early access basically is crazy. A game selling with one game mode and like 3 maps that all kind of look the same is pretty nuts. Because a lot of us, especially you guys who follow this stuff and like know these problems, didn't expect it to do that well, but I think it's because of the fact that to the average person scrolling on their Xbox who doesn't really watch gameranx or read articles all day, to them it's just, oh cool, Friday the 13th game, and they buy it, not knowing that it's completely unfinished and it's only got one mode. They don't know that, so they just buy into it. That, I think, is part of the reason why it sold 1.8 million copies and blew everybody away. There's been some controversy with the team working on another game, but they have released a statement saying that they are hard at work on fixing bugs and stuff, and honestly, I want to see that. With them selling and having such a big success with this, I just want to see more progress and make the game as good as it really could be. Also, speaking of games that really divide everyone, Sonic Forces got some new gameplay like everything else I talk about this week. We're going to link it down in the description. It's ripped, but it's good, but the problem is that the person playing the demo is very, very bad, and I don't try to judge that, but it just makes it hard to watch and really see how the game flows. But honestly, this does look like a Sonic game that I want to play. That felt really weird to actually say out loud on a camera.
Was that like Wrath of the Werehog or something?
It's not Shadow the Hedgehog, or as I call him, Shadow the Edgelord.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Sonic and the Magic Rings.
Sonic and he makes out with a lady.
Sonic and the sex with a human woman. But you know, every week we like to see what goes on the internet and point out things that people make involving games. And we have to talk about this Legend of Zelda Nintendo Switch case. This thing looks absolutely awesome. Props to them. I really want one because we all have, I think we all in the office have the same Sheikah Slate case for the Nintendo Switch. And it's ugly. This is one of the coolest Legend of Zelda cases you could probably get, and I'm really jealous. But in other news, we got some new Persona announcements. Most notably for the Nintendo 3DS, we're getting Persona Q2. It also hinted, using the logo of Persona 5, it suggests that we're gonna get Persona 5 characters in Persona Q2. So that's something to look forward to if you're a Persona fan. But we also got more announcements of Persona 3 and 5. 4 and 5?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. What are they doing? They're dancing?
They're more dancing games.
Yeah.
It's like dancing all night.
So if you're already done and you're not still grinding through Persona 5, that's definitely a couple things to look forward to. But moving on.
Oh.
Yes.
Persona 4 Dancing All Night actually introduced lore, and it was a continuation of the Persona 4 story, and not like a side story, non-canonical thing. It is a canonical sequel to Persona 4 that takes place after the events of Persona 4.
I don't care. But in some other news, Nintendo has come out of the woodwork and announced that the SNES Classic pre-orders for North America will go live at the end of August. So if unfortunately you were one of the people, we talked about it last week, you pre-ordered on Walmart and your stuff was canceled, now you gotta stay awake and hopefully catch one of these. It's going to be available on Amazon, Target, and Best Buy, so keep your eyes peeled. But that's some of the stuff we wanted to talk about this week. You know what's next? That free console giveaway we do every single week. There's a link below, you click it to sign up, you enter once, then you're entered for good, and then every single week we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is gonna be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox and your spam box over the next couple days because we're going to be getting in touch with you to figure out how to send you your console. But that's some of the stuff we wanted to talk about this week. So now let's talk in the comments. How do you feel about the Xbox One X and the whole 4K thing? Do you not even have a 4K TV and you don't have a horse in this race? Maybe you just want more graphical power. Are you happy with that? Have you been using a PlayStation 4 Pro and do you think it will stack up to an Xbox One X? Let's talk about any of that. But also, let's talk about Sonic Forces. Am I crazy? Am I the only person that thinks it looks really good? Also, how do you feel about Friday the 13th? Do you think a game selling 1.8 million copies that is barely even a game, it should be a thing? Let's talk about any of this stuff down in the comments. I'll be down there talking to you guys as much as possible, but you know where to find me as well if you want to send me free money, candy, hate mail, bombs, at Jake Baldino on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well. But thank you guys for coming around, joining Tommy Boy and me talking about games. Clicking the like button helps us out a lot. It helps me feed Tom. And if you are new and this is your first time here, subscribing is good because we do this stuff. We do before you buys, we do top 10s and stuff all the time. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.
Was yesterday.
It was. I bought the pizza. It really happened.